Hi friends, so in today's video we are going to see what is state in SwiftUI. So let's get started. So we'll first open the Xcode and we'll create a new project. Let's name your project whatever you like. I will name it as state. Make sure you select Swift language and SwiftUI here. Click next and save it. Okay, so make sure your project is running properly and we can see the hello world here. Then we are good to go start. Okay, so it's build succeeded, so we can start. So in Swift UI, state is nothing but it will allow your content on your view to be get changed. So to understand this, we'll create one example and understand. So suppose you have this text here, and let me reload this and see it on the actual view. And suppose I will create here one var of name, and I will give it a name, like for example I will give my name here, and let's see if it reflects in this or not. So currently I'm using 11.5, so maybe it's not that much good yet, just released, so it's not reloading complete instantly. It takes some time to reload. So if you have this name here and you want to display it on the screen, what you can do is you can directly pass that here like name. So wait, let me just run the function on the code on the actual simulator. There we can see the output. So since I have passed this name here, it will display the name on the view. And okay, it's taking time to load. Yeah, there you go. So it is showing my name. So suppose you want to change this name. So what I will do is I will add one button which will basically change the name. So to add a button, I can directly start writing code also, but I will show you one more way. So select command button, press the command button and click on this text, and you will get this drop down here, and inside this you can select whatever you want. So I will select list, since we cannot return two different views for this main view. We have to make sure that it is returning only one view. So I will select okay, so I don't have to select actually list. Here I have to select vstack, and inside vstack we will pass our two views. One is our text with name, and second is we are going to create a button. So you can here also, you can directly start writing your code, or you have this plus icon here and you can directly drag drop the button here and it will write the code for you. So it's up to you how you want to do that. So on this button I will press enter and I will write the code here. What I want to do is I want to change the name. So self.name equal to, I will give you some I will give it a different name, so maybe my surname. Okay, and now let rename it as change name button, and let's see how it looks. Okay, so we have some error. So yeah, you can see that it is not allowing me to change this name property. Why? Because this name property is not declared as a state. So you have to declare it as a state attribute, otherwise it will not allow you to change that property. So I have declared it as state, and now you can see it will run properly. There you go. So see, here you have got a change name and Prashant. Let's add some padding to it, so it will look little bit better. Run again, and yes. So now if you, one thing you can observe, that once I click on this change name, it will directly change this name. I have written a function, it will change the name, and it will also reflect here also directly without me to load anything else. So see, it has changed the name. So how it come to know that I have to change this? So this is the power of state. So what happens internally is whenever you uh, press the button which is having this text, it will call this action and it will change the name. That's fine, that we can easily understand, and that text is that name is also used here. So in your this view body, wherever you have used name, it will reflect those changes there. But how it directly reflect our this view without again running the project and everything? So that what it does is the state make sure that if this property gets changed, it will completely reload this full state, full body part again. It will render the complete view again on your screen here. So it's not only going to change your this name, if you have other elements also on your view, all will get changed if they are dependent on this. So basically one line answer is, if you change anything related to state variable, then your complete view will get loaded again. So this is one example where we have seen how we can change the text and everything. We'll going to see one more example. So suppose, let me just clear this and we can again try clear again. Okay, and this time I will not use name. This time we'll see how we can use the state for creating a list. So for creating a list, what I will do is, first I will create a struct, and this time I want this struct to be, for example, users. I can assume it user, not users, a single user, and let it have some properties like name of type string, and I can also pass it id. Id is very much important actually. Id, and since we are using id, we have to make sure that this user is confirmed to identifiable, so that our list which we are going to create here will identify each row uniquely. Now let me grab all the users here, where users equal to an array of user, and it is an empty array now. Now what we are going to do is inside body we'll have the list, which we are going to see how it can work. So list I have created, and inside now this is giving us error because we are not returning any view here. So inside list, what we can do is we can create a for each loop, just like we have learned in our previous video. We are going to create a for each loop, and we are going to pass it an array of users. Okay, and inside this we will fetch each user here, user in this current for each loop, and we are going to display the name of that user. So user dot name we are going to display here. But now okay, so it's giving me some error. Okay, I have to take this user. Okay, now it's fine. Now our code is, I guess it will not give us any error. Okay, fine. So now what we can do is if we can see here, we are not getting any data because we don't have anything in our user. So what we will do is we will add one button on top of our list, which will add user. So for creating a button, again you can create it programmatically or you can write the code. So I will write the code action, just double click here, it will directly create for you. And to give it this name to your button, we will create a text and we'll give it a name as add user. And for action, what we will do is, instead here we will call a function instead of directly writing anything there. So what we can do is, just let me clear this, it will be okay, let me just clear this for your understanding, better understanding. Just use this button here, and here we are going to call a function which will add a user for us, and that function will be like add user, and that's it. And this inside this will give a text as add user. Now it is giving us error that this function is not defined anywhere, so we will define it outside body, like we make sure it is a private function. Always have a good practice to create your functions private if they are not going to access outside this file. So add user, and yeah, so inside this we are going to just append the user in our actual users array. So users dot append a new element, and that element will be a user. So this time we are going to use this. We have to pass only a name. So for now, let's take an example that we are going to pass this name. You can pass anything. So this is how we created a user. Now let's run it and see how it works. Okay, so it's giving me some error. Okay, so again here what we are doing is we are using users array for our list, but we have not declared it as a state. So it's good that this is going to give you an error. So here it is. If you fix this, it won't be working. It will just add mutating word here, which will not work. Basically you have to add again a state attribute here, so that you can modify your users. So let's run now and see. So you must have understood that. Now what this function will do is, see, you have add user button at the top. So if I click here, it will start adding it, and it will automatically reload your list also. So basically what is happening here is, when you tap add user button, this for each loop is already using your users array and displaying it. At the start there is nothing, so there you have only empty list. But when you click on button add user, this function gets called, and you are adding one user to it, and it is just, so this users array gets changed, and because of this state it comes to know that my users array gets changed, so it will completely reload this body again for us. So whenever you tap on add user, it is completely reloading the complete view for us. So this is how state works. It basically keep a check on your variables and properties which you have declared, and if those properties gets changed, it will reload the complete view for us. So it's very good that we don't have to call from our side, it will automatically reload everything for us. So that's all about state, and in the next lecture we'll learn about the bindings. Thank you.